This week in Jamaica Now.
The date fixed for the taking of the polls, that is the general elections for the year 2020, is therefore Thursday, September the 3rd, 2020.
Jamaica heading to the polls in a matter of weeks.
Yo, bunting out and stunting, Kyle them thick like dumpling.
Gauging the political temperature, PNP and JLP begin the air war.
Hear me no flight green. Yo southwest until easy bay.
COVID numbers still climbing. Government closes 19 rivers and 17 beaches as part of containment measures. Grief. A medical intern dies on the job in Annotto Bay. St. Catherine barber falls from a 3-floor building after being shot multiple times. And government facing $200 million lawsuit. I'm Damian Mitchell, and this is Jamaica Now.
Tuesday, the 18th day of August 2020, is appointed as nomination day. The date fixed for the taking of the polls, that is the general elections for the year 2020, is therefore Thursday, September the 3rd, 2020.
That's Prime Minister Andrew Holness in the Parliament on Tuesday announcing that Jamaicans will be heading to the polls in a general election in a matter of weeks. It's the 18th general election since universal adult suffrage in 1944, and the JLP will be going for a 9th win. Days before the announcement, Jamaica Labour Party leader Andrew Holness was in Western Jamaica sporting his Clark's Desert Boots, the footwear that has become known as his election shoes. It was a similar attire on Tuesday when the Prime Minister arrived at the Parliament for the election announcement. In the meantime, the People's National Party says it has put in the work and is ready for the election.
People's National Party are prepared to rescue Jamaica. To rescue Jamaica from a declining economy that is leaving the majority of the people and the poorest people behind.
Meanwhile, the Jamaica Progressive Party, the JPP, took issue with being excluded from planned talks between the JLP and the PNP to discuss campaign issues. General Secretary for the JPP, Robert Rainford, released a statement calling the exclusion an affront to the electoral process. Rainford has called for the political ombudsman, Donna Parchment-Brown, to intervene. The JPP is one of 4 political parties to contest the September 3 polls. And the party has also been attracting much attention since the release of its manifesto. Among the promises is to clear Jamaica's national debt within 90 days of becoming government. It also says it will hold a parliamentary vote to make Jamaica a kingdom and that it would remove income tax. The JPP is also promising the death penalty for pedophiles and rapists. Jamaica's coronavirus tally continues to increase, passing the 1,000 mark this week. The number of active cases now also at 250. Meanwhile, the government this week reimposed several measures to contain the spread of the virus. Among them is the closure of 17 beaches and 19 rivers.
The level of indiscipline amongst persons who are attending these locations have made it necessary for some strong actions to be taken in regards to the operation of 17 beaches and 19 rivers.
The local government minister Desmond McKenzie also announced new measures for the staging of entertainment events. Promoters must apply for a permit 15 days before the event and must display a copy of the permit at least 8 hours before the show. Now, only 230 people will be allowed in a venue, down from 280. Meanwhile, the Health Ministry has missed a second deadline to clear the backlog of COVID samples for testing. The government had promised to clear the more than 2,000 samples by the end of this week. Director of the National Laboratory Services, Dr. Michelle Hamilton, says there was a delay because the National Public Health Laboratory did not receive the reagents needed for testing.
The situation is not, however, one of doom and gloom, because we have been assured and documents have been forwarded to us to indicate that we are in fact getting a large shipment of kits next week for the COBA 6800. And this is very good news indeed, because it means that we will have kits on hand to clear any samples remaining at the lab, as well as to deal with eventualities coming in from the field.
There was grief in the medical fraternity this week after a medical intern died on the job in St. Mary on Wednesday evening. Yakeev Morris died while on duty at the Annotto Bay Hospital. Regional Director for the Northeast Regional Health Authority, Dr. Patrick Wheatle, says the staff was left in shock as they continue to address the needs of patients. Morris was a block representative for Taylor Hall at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Condolences for his friends and families continue to pour in online. The government is facing a $220 million lawsuit filed on behalf of party promoter Andrew Wright, more popularly known as Andrew French. In the lawsuit, Wright, who has had his bank accounts frozen since May this year, said the restraint order was obtained for an improper purpose without any substantial foundation. The lawsuit was filed on Tuesday in the Supreme Court by Wright's lawyer Peter Champagny. Champagny has offered no details about the lawsuit, but suggested that it may be the first time an individual has challenged the basis on which a state entity has obtained a restraint order. A St. Catherine barber has died from injuries he sustained after being shot several times and falling from the third floor of a plaza in Port Henderson in the parish of St. Catherine on Sunday. Onlookers said the shooter was wearing a hoodie. After the shooting, he walked down the flight of stairs, crossed the Port Henderson main road, and escaped in a waiting motorcar. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page, turn on your notifications and subscribe today. I'm Damian Mitchell, and before we go, the air war has started as political parties take to social media ahead of the September 3 general election. Here are some of the advertisements that trended this week.
Yo, Peter Bunting, stunting. Central Manchester, warm to them. Yo, Bunting out and stunting. Kyle them tick like dumpling. Comrade gal them jumping. Action ready for the thumping.
Yo, this have a buzz still in it.
Flight green, him no friend no feeling. Style to him thing, not just some boy. Them a pies we drink. Flight green on rate you, not gonna run your people. Now I'm in the lane. Till you see Betty na them own a lane. Now them own a game, so no boy can't start. Stay na him own a lane.
Lisa, no boy can't say you ever beg him and know your style that. Put your call to him out, you will flop that. Yeah, you have your own money, yeah, you got that. Oh, 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 oh. Lisa step in, every girl I feel like chat can't chat.
Yes, when you talk about clocks, you have to talk about Nigel Clark. A one government, hey, Nigel Clark. With the smoke I treat. You have to talk about Nigel Clark, Nigel Clark.